And we are live and welcome. I am Mike TheZorch,
This
and
is
this
Tygra
is
Kahn.
day 4, the last day of this whole thing. We do this again. We're doing it differently because
Yeah,
this is torn us up.
this has been a little much,
Yeah, this has been a little
especially
much.
being busy with another project. It's been kind of piled on.
Well, that didn't help because we had also had that going on,
hmm
and
Trying to keep everything going.
the other project what is the one Tiger's been working on, and that is the new. We're putting a new set together with green screen and a new computer for video capture, and it's a much more powerful machine than what I've been using for running games.
hmm
So we'll be able to capture really good quality stuff, and we'll be able to also do stuff with green screen work, and it also will have the Adobe tools on it for much better quality video
Yeah,
editing. And you've been working on getting that put
working on
together.
it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. We've basically taken over the entire front room totally for this.
Yeah, we don't essentially have a normal living room.
Not anymore. Not after this.
Not anymore. We got that room where it's tools and computer stuff, and then the other room is
We do have our
our
cave.
we have a cave.
We have a cave.
Cave with the TV. That's where the game consoles are currently, but we're gonna move those
We're gonna move those.
so that we can stream games from the Xbox and PS4.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be able to do that finally. And then there's some games I've been wanting to stream for PS4 and Xbox One, and we may get also in the future PS4 Pro and Xbox One X in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
That's sometime down the road, and
Upgrades.
it'll still be some time before the new machine is done, and I can start doing videos and stuff from in there instead of here in my room. May
Yeah.
occasionally do some quick stuff here on this machine with my webcam and a different mic. 'Cause this Blue Yeti will be in there, but I've got another one of those small mics, like the one you're going to use in there when we do videos together. I've got another one of those, and I'll use it in here. So, the last day, Nintendo had their event.
Yeah.
They like Square Enix decided to
Pretty
forego
straightforward.
decided to forego an on stage event, and they did a really big, dense Nintendo Direct.
Mm-hmm.
And I say dense because they had a lot of information in this one.
Yeah.
And at some point in this, I just gave up on keeping notes because there was just so much. And at the end, we'll give our final impressions on basically what we felt about the entire whole E3 press conference experience. So, Nintendo's Direct, they began with some kind of really fast-paced mech game, and they call it
Yeah.
Damon Machina. And they start.
Yeah. I
It looked,
wasn't sure what that was supposed to be. I was not familiar with that one.
yeah. They started. It was really fast-paced. It looked not quite like Gundam. I almost thought it might have been a Zone of the Enders game, but it wasn't. It was definitely a really fast paced, a really hectic mech game. Looked really good, and it's coming out next year. No real details, just a lot of gameplay footage of it.
Just have a bunch of mechs smashing it up
Yeah,
together. So
just your typical. It's not your Western battle
bunch
mech
of
sort of
smaller
game.
mechs kind of taking on a larger,
Yeah.
more mega mech type of combat.
Oh yeah.
Kind.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
That one will be coming up soon. We have the first one, don't we?
Nope, I never did pick it up.
Ah.
For the yeah, it was on my kind of want to get it list, but I never got around to picking it up.
Once we get a Switch, we could probably get it.
I think it's on the Wii U, isn't it?
It's on the Wii U also, but we can't stream any Nintendo stuff, so.
I don't know. I don't
But
know.
it'd be fun to play it.
Like I said before, I don't know what the issues are. If it's just Nintendo games or if it's specifically platform issues as a whole platform. I don't know what the story is there.
We've decided just not to touch anything on the Nintendo console, except we'll talk about it, but we won't stream any of it. Just to be safe, because they're not playing nice.
That only hurts Nintendo.
That only hurts Nintendo. That only hurts Nintendo. So, Xenoblade, the next Xenoblade Chronicles looks good. If it's going to be anything like the first Xenoblade Chronicles, it'll probably be very popular. The first one was really popular. It was a big open world game. Don't know if the second one is an open world. Probably will be. And after that, Reggie Fils-Aimé came out, and he talked about the portability of the Switch and how happy it is that it's doing so well. And he mentioned some of the Pokemon games. He showed off the Pokeball Plus, a new controller, Pokeball controller for Pokemon games for the Switch and also for Pokemon Go on mobile. And that's coming out on November 16th. And whenever you buy one, you'll get Mew. Mew will already be in the Pokeball. The Mew Pokemon character will be there for everyone who buys one.
And I wonder how many people are going to break them throwing them. There's going to be moments.
Oh, yes. You know
it's coming.
They didn't put a wrist strap on the thing, so it's going to happen.
You know it's going to happen. There's going to be people who are going to throw it and break it. You know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then there's a new Super Mario Party. This one doesn't have a number. They're naming it Super Mario Party. It doesn't have a number like the past ones. Seems to have a bunch of new mini games.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that positioning the Switch in different positions seems to matter.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because they put two next to each other, and there was this like maze kind of or battle like tank game or something they were playing, and they were able to rearrange them, and it would adapt the game depending on how they were seated next to each other. I thought that was
So that's an interesting thing, and that kind of works for that particular kind of game.
Yeah, that was a nifty little concept gimmick there that they had put in that.
Yeah, because
I thought that was neat.
Yeah, that was a pretty neat idea. I mean, you can easily do that with this. It's easier to do that with this than it was for like the Wii U with the screen controller and everything like that.
Yeah.
So stuff like this,
they took the portability of the system and turned it as an advantage for the game.
Yeah. So that was actually pretty ingenious.
That was a neat idea. I think they did that pretty neat.
Yeah. So that is coming in October 5th. Then they showed off another Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Three Houses. And Fire Emblem has been Nintendo's RPG / military conflict sim, sort of, where it is a RPG, but also you have armies at the same time. And so that is coming spring 2019. There are people who are big fans of Fire Emblem. It's a series that's been going on for a long time, since It's been a really long running series for Nintendo.
Yeah, I've not played it, but I've been aware of it.
Yeah,
Of the name of it.
I've been aware of it. It's recently gained a lot of popularity. The Fire Emblem franchise has recently gained a lot of popularity with the I believe it was on the 3DS as well, and it was on the Wii, and there were some games on the Wii U, but it has gained a lot of popularity in recent years. So another one of those coming. Then of course, Fortnite. We've known this was coming to the Switch. That's no surprise. It's the complete game, all the same content as the game on the other platforms on PC and all the other platforms that Fortnite is on, and it's available right now. And it's a free-to-play game. The Fortnite Battle Royale. So that's a thing. It's out now, and that's a pretty big deal for Nintendo Switch because Fortnite is right now one of the most popular games out there.
The advantage they have is their portability, that they can really take that with them and have a more full game, anywhere. That's kind of an advantage to that version.
Anywhere they get access to Wi-Fi and they can play online.
Yeah, that portability is a big deal.
Yep. And then they went into an indie game segment, and this is where they dropped a whole ton of stuff. And I had to pause the video to catch the names of a lot of the games that they showed here. Overcooked 2. That's coming August 7th with wireless multiplayer. For Overcooked 2. Overcooked was a popular indie game where you basically work the kitchen and you could compete with other people, and it had some wacky events like an earthquake would cause the kitchen to split in half temporarily, and then it would reform back together, and other interesting stuff. What looked like a brawler or some kind of joust-like game called Kill Queen Black.
I looked at that and I said, well, somebody's done clone Joust into some other kind of game.
Yeah.
Like they took Joust and that was the first real expansion on the idea of Joust I'd seen in a long time. I thought that was interesting to find a new twist for the old Joust mechanic.
Yep. So that's coming later this year. There's no definitive date on that one. And then the Metroidvania Hollow Knight, side-scrolling Metroidvania game Hollow Knight is coming. Hollow Knight is sort of, you take the idea of the Metroidvania side-scrolling genre and you give it Dark Souls level difficulty. That's Hollow Knight. And it's available now. It's available now in the eShop, and it includes all the available DLC that was made available on other platforms.
That's been a big theme of all the games on here. Is a lot of ones that have moved to the Switch, and I think just about all of them have included any DLC when they've moved over.
They brought a lot of games to the Switch. I mean,
yeah, there was a lot. But go ahead, keep going. It was just the DLC thing. I was thinking about all the others that had any DLC was always referenced that all their DLC is going to be brought over. So these are full-on content in these games.
Gave a few more details on Octopath Traveler from Square Enix. There'll be a demo June 14th for the game, and its official launch will be on July 13th in the eShop. And you'll be able to also get probably the cartridge also. But the official release is the 13th, but you'll be able to play a demo of the game on the 14th on the eShop, which that's a brand new RPG IP from Square Enix. And then they just really quickly went through a ton of games. I mean, a ton. Okay, we know about Starlink, so they dropped that one first.
Yeah. Okay, this was the thing I noticed about this
Yeah.
section. This is something I said earlier the other
Mm-hmm.
day. I said would be useful if because we kept seeing Switch occasionally referred to in all these other presentations,
Mm-hmm.
and I said it would be useful if they would have collected all that and presented all that to gather it all together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was.
Yeah, that's what this was.
This was where you saw all the Switch references in the Sony and all these other ones, all these other games, all these other companies, and they just dropped all that in this section.
Yep.
All those were there.
Mm-hmm.
So they did do it. They did summarize. That's what I
Yeah.
said they should do is summarize. And they did,
They-
and it's a lot.
Oh, they did. It's a lot of games.
Mhm.
So again, Starlink with the with the Star Fox crossover.
In my opinion, the one to get because of Star.
Yep. October 16th. Arena of Valor. This is either a MOBA or a Diablo clone. They just showed a little bit of gameplay and the name and when it should be expected. So this one's fall of 2018. It looked like it might be either a MOBA or a Diablo clone. Either one. From the name, I would say it might be a MOBA. But it did look like a Diablo clone, so it's difficult to say until we get more details about it. Then June 21st, Minecraft.
Yeah, I saw that in there.
I thought Minecraft was already on the Switch.
I did too. That's why I was a little surprised because I thought
either that or this is the long-awaited super duper graphics. They didn't give any other name for it.
It didn't look like that. It didn't look that way, so I don't know.
Because they've got the super duper graphics update that's supposed to be coming out. Not too sure.
Yeah, it just mentioned it. It was just like a brief flash of it. But I do remember seeing it and was thinking, I thought that had already showed up. But
yeah, I thought
maybe
it was already out on the Switch, but maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, and Sushi Striker. This was out on other platforms already, and it's actually done. It's done fairly well. I believe it was on the PS4. So this is out now. Mario Rabbids Donkey Kong Adventure.
Yeah, this is the one that was at that other one where they had the band and all that.
Yep, we saw this during Ubisoft.
You get the bigger look at the Ubisoft version.
Yep. So that's coming June 26th. PixARK. A sort of basically Ark Survival Evolved mixed with Minecraft, and it even has apparently it's an official Ark game. It's made by the same developers, and it even has the Ark logo. And it's coming out fall of this year, but it looks very Minecrafty. And then of course, Just Dance 2019, October 13th.
Mm-hmm.
That would work well with the Switch, with the with the mobile factor there, and the Joy-Con controllers, which are also motion controllers. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That's proven to be very popular on other platforms. Also, it's probably one of the most popular of the Dragon Ball fighting games. 2.5D side fighting game. So that's coming later this year. No actual definitive date. Then Splatoon 2 beta experience or beta expansion. I believe it's beta experience.
They didn't make as much fuss about Splatoon as I would have thought Splatoon would have made a bigger
I had heard
splash,
that they were going to make a bigger deal about Splatoon.
but they really didn't. It was pretty muted.
Yeah. So it's coming this summer, and
It wasn't the one they really wanted to show off.
No, I mean, because they teased this really big update that's supposedly coming, but I guess this is what they're talking about, the beta experience. So
yeah,
maybe we'll see more details later on this. Okay, after Splatoon 2, some games that they're bringing over from the Wii U. Another one they're bringing over is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. And that one's coming on the 13th. This is one where you actually rotate the world around to move Toad through the world. So that's an interesting little idea, and this one's proven to be a very popular. This one's proven to be a popular game, and it got some good reviews. Next one, I have no idea what this one is, and that's Ninjala. It could be a Splatoon style game. It's coming spring 2019. It's definitely some kind of multiplayer competitive. Apparently, no details at all. Just a more short snippet of gameplay and a name drop, and that's it. And then Corsicone was the next game, and it's dropping this Christmas. And they had this map they were dropping together with tiles, and I didn't know if it was some kind of strategy game. No details on that one, exactly what it is.
Yeah, they were just doing name dropping in that.
Yeah, they were just doing name dropping. So it could be a strategy game. It could be just a puzzle game. It had other stats on screen, so it could be an RPG of some kind, or maybe even a Fire Emblem-esque war strategy sort of game. Difficult to say.
Yeah.
And EA did have a presence on the Switch with FIFA 18, which is out now.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they like I said, they collected all the stuff, including the EA stuff.
Yep.
So and FIFA 18 and 19.
Yep. 18 is out now. FIFA 19 is coming September 28th.
Yeah.
Then the full version of Ark Survival Evolved. That's coming this fall. So the full game of that is coming to the Switch. Then something that was completely unexpected. I didn't know this was coming. Wasteland 2 is coming to the Switch this fall. Most likely with a new, updated UI and controls and everything. Wasteland, the original Wasteland game was a RPG from the 80s, late 80s, released on PC, and it was the game that inspired the Fallout franchise. And this is a sequel that was made as a part of a Kickstarter campaign, successful Kickstarter campaign. So this was released on PC first, and then it was ported over. I think it was ported over to PS4 or Xbox before. And now it'll be on the Switch.
Yeah.
This fall. Paladins. Paladins is out now. It's free-to-play hero shooter. So that's out now on the Switch. That's from Hi-Rez Studios. Popular game. Fallout Shelter is out now.
Mm-hmm.
Summer of this year, Dark Souls Remastered. The remastered version of Dark Souls coming to the Switch. This one's been talked about a lot. Dark Souls is one of the games from Software, and it has fair controls but brutal difficulty. Where you have these huge bosses, gigantic bosses, and difficult fights and everything. So that's coming to the Switch, and it gives you an idea of, they're not shying away from adult games on the Switch, because that's a very adult game, very hard, very brutal difficulty game. Then SNK Heroines looks like a fighting game with all the girls from SNK fighting games. That's coming September 7th. And then another Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, on August 28th. And Wolfenstein 2, another game we knew was coming. Another game that was name dropped before. That's coming the 29th. So you'll be able to kill Nazis on the go. There was another game. It looked like a brawler. Looked like a cartoonish brawler, side-scrolling. I could not read the name because of the weird font it was in.
Yeah, there was a few like that. Like,
there were a few like that. It almost looked like a Streets of Rage sort of game, and there were also creatures as well as people you were fighting on the street. And it was a side-scrolling 3/4 perspective sort of game, almost like Streets of Rage. It was a little strange. And again, I could not read the name, and they didn't have the name in regular text. They just had the game logo, and I could barely read it in the small space they had it in.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really read what the name was. Then after that, Mega Man 11 on October 2nd. Mario Tennis Aces on October 22nd. Nothing new. They've been previewing that one for some time. Then they brought their general manager of planning and development, Shinya Takahashi, out. And he talked about how happy he was that people were really enjoying the Switch. And he thanked the developers who worked on games for the console. And then that's when he went in and started talking about Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the rest of it, too.
That was the rest of the show.
They spent a long time on it.
A long time and dropped a lot of details.
Yeah.
And
they poured everything on the table with that one.
I have to say one thing.
They wanted people to be jazzed about that.
They wanted people to be jazzed. Well, Smash Brothers is a big deal for Nintendo because it's one of their biggest, most popular franchises, next to Splatoon and Mario games.
They're definitely aiming this at esports.
Oh, it's been involved in esports for a while now.
But they want this to be kind of to be a premiere in that for sure.
This game is a love letter to Smash fans.
No kidding. Yeah, it's like because I remember the people in IGN talking like, well, if they do a Smash Brothers, are they going to include this or they include that? Would they have this or will they have that? Nintendo basically answered it. Everything.
Everything.
You name it, it's everything.
Every character,
all the content from every Smash Brother game they had ever done.
Yep.
And then some, and all the DLCs, everything.
Oh.
If they had ever been a Smash Brothers character,
yep,
it got included, including the levels and everything that they were associated.
Yes, that means Solid Snake. That means Strife, Cloud Strife,
everything, yeah,
everything. The Fire Emblem characters.
They even made it a point to say this is the biggest video game character crossover ever.
Yes,
they're probably right.
There have been video game crossover. No, there was one with female characters from various anime in a fighting game once.
Mm-hmm.
But this trumps that.
And you have your
massively.
Occasional Namcom, Konami, or Marvel or things. But in this one, they just took everything they've ever done and just tossed it in.
Oh yeah, you have Pac-Man in there.
Pac-Man.
You had Puck.
3 versions of Zelda.
Yep.
Or actually, 3 versions of Link.
3 versions of Link, 2 versions of Zelda. You have Daisy from Super Mario Galaxy. And this one was just full, and
Solid Snake, just everything.
And every character gets a revamp. A lot of the
they tweaked them all. They took what was unoptimized about some of them and re-optimized them.
Yep.
So that they play more smoother.
Yep. And the assist trophies, they've improved those, or changed or improved them in many ways. I mean, there's a lot.
And
A
they pretty much
lot.
they pretty much said that they're going to be it's going to be adding more over time too. They're going to drop more in as they go.
Yeah. They added Mario's hat from Mario Odyssey to the game, and also Link's bombs from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what all?
they
Because this
they
was
just totally, it's like overloaded. I mean, it's like huge.
female Pikachu, which I didn't know there was a female Pikachu. And I wrote here in my log. Seriously, too much to take notes on.
Yeah, it was, you could, because they walk through it and they have this little thing is they go like this, the case you're wondering what the number is, they specifically say that's the number they were introduced in.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like it's like how many were there total? I think it was like count up almost 50.
No, I saw 64.
Was there a
Yeah,
up to 64?
yeah,
It was large. I
it was
lost count.
large. The roster.
Because,
When you first start the game, you'll begin with the beginner roster, and then you'll unlock characters as you go. They even streamlined that process of unlocking characters, so it's
yeah.
not so much of a grind anymore to unlock them. Oh, they did add a Inkling boy and girl, and various outfits for them from Splatoon 2. So they did include them.
There's a dragon one at the end that they made a big deal of. What was that one?
That was Ridley from Metroid. They added him.
Okay.
So they added Ridley. They had all the stages from the previous games are in it, and they have multiple versions of those stages. They have a new Breath of the Wild stage where they're basically on that tower on the Great Plateau. Then they revamped the battle techniques. 1v1 battles deal more damage so that the games are faster. Also, you can use the GameCube controller.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be they showed a one with the logo for it on it.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're going to have some kind of adapter for hooking those up.
They would have to, because there's no port for the GameCube on the Switch, so they would have to have some kind of adapter.
I wonder if they're going to have a dedicated model specifically for this, though. Because they showed one that was branded with the Smash Brothers logo. So, but you didn't see the cord, so you couldn't tell if this was also a classic GameCube controller.
It would be probably a wireless controller specifically for this.
Yeah, I would think that's because that's what I was wondering is, does this mean you can use your old classic ones, or is this a modern controller just shaped like the old classic GameCube controllers? That's what I wasn't clear on.
Yep.
Because it kind of said you can use your control, you can use this, but it was still not quite clear if this was a wireless model dedicated, or if they're going to have some kind of adapter that you can actually plug in your old controllers. They didn't say. They didn't specify that.
Yeah. And also, all the amiibos are usable. Even amiibos that were not directly for Smash Brothers are usable for upgrading your characters, for scanning and upgrading them. So, really packed.
For those amiibo collectors out there, this is going to be something.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big for them. So if you're an amiibo collector, you're going to be glad you collected them.
Dust a few of them off and try them out and see what they do.
Yep. And that will all be available December 7th, which was interesting because it's Pearl Harbor Day. Oh, that was a packed event. Now, I didn't watch what happened after. They had a Nintendo Treehouse after. I collapsed after that.
Yeah, we didn't watch that part.
But I think I'm going to collapse after we're done here, too.
I went back and did some more steps on the server, and while I was waiting for that to do what it was doing, I watched a little bit more Doctor Who, and
Yeah, they're still streaming Doctor Who on Twitch, and Twitch Presents. They're
Mm-hmm.
still streaming that. They're going to be streaming that for a while now. Which Doctor are they on still?
They're on the third Doctor now.
Okay.
They're partway through. They just got through doing the Octors or whatever today. They're doing that one today.
All right, they're
The
on
plastic.
John
bad
Pertwee.
guys. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, this has been a
You know what?
long.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My mind just went crazy. Okay, so in that episode, that one that they showed, the plastic creatures come to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the aliens are invading and they're plastic based. So they invade in modern times, and all the amiibos come to life and attack everybody. Just saying. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be like.
I think that's also that's they brought that enemy back during the
The Octors or whatever.
yeah, they brought them back
Come back and
the
all the
very
amiibos
first
come to life
episode
and
of the
have a
new
live
season,
action,
new series.
live action Smash Brothers with amiibo characters all attacking and killing each other.
Amiibo apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a long 4 days, and this has been rough. As I said before, we do this again, we're going to do it a little differently.
We're night owls around here, and having to be up in the daytime is not on my schedule.
No. We're all vampires here.
Like the sun comes up, the sun comes out, and I'm like, I'm ready to go to bed. So
it's like, oh man. So, I think Nintendo had a really good showing this year.
Go ahead.
You go on.
No, I was going to say my impression of, unlike the opposite of Sony and them, where they were really dark. Most of theirs was, with a lot of combat, but it's just, games are very upbeat, very bright colors, very very cheery, very chippy. Basically Nintendo, a
wide variety of different style games, not just the same kind.
I think what I'm glad to see is that there's a lot of publishers on there, way more than I would have. When they first announced the Switch, I was a little concerned about third party, but there's been a lot. There's been a lot of third party and a lot of popular games. And I wasn't sure that system could hold up, but it's doing pretty good. So
now the Switch has been a big deal for Nintendo. It's been a big deal for them.
If it hadn't worked, it would probably be their last console if it failed. If it had failed, the fact that it's working, they're just gonna keep trucking.
They still had a lot of cash from the Wii, and also from the fact that the 3DS was still popular. So they weren't in any danger of going under.
I just felt they were marginalized a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you were kind of like this, redheaded stepchild that the game industry sort of just went, oh yeah, then there's those guys. But they kind of came back with a roar with this thing.
Yeah, when Nintendo makes a comeback, they make a comeback in style.
They do it, and it lasts. They get rolling with it, and it lasts them a long momentum. They sort of need it because it's a long time before they ever come back with something else.
Oh,
so they're gonna be riding with this for a while.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're doing all right.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah. So, as I said, it's been a long 4 days. What's been your impressions of E3 so far? These press conferences.
Overall, I think the state of gaming, good. There's a lot of variety. There's a little something for everybody. I think some of the negativity that the game industry has been dealing with, they've kind of started learning what not to do slowly. They're kind of learning how to do it better, how to involve. Many of them have learned how to involve the communities to make an interaction between it not just being a one way them feeding us games, but an interactive experience of assisting them in building games. I think that's great. Um, the variety, the uniqueness, and that not just AAA presented, but everything down to 1 or 2 man teams, that you can be a part of this no matter how big or how small that you are. And, it's possible to get out there, just having that right idea and getting it out there. There's paths for that.
Yeah.
I think that strengthens the community and the game industry as a whole. And I think overall, yeah, the state of the gaming is really strong right now. It's really good. Got a good measure of platforms. We got a good measure of variety. They all bring something unique to the table. It's good. I think we're doing good this year.
Oh, I have to agree. Dennis Bridgewater, welcome to the chat. You just caught us at the end of when we were talking about Nintendo. How they had a very dense Nintendo Direct.
Mm-hmm.
Filled with a lot of information. Most of it was most of it was all Smash Brothers, but
Yeah.
they name dropped a ton of new games.
Yeah, a lot of it wasn't like groundbreakingly new, not a whole lot. A lot of it was what we'd already kind of knew was coming prior.
Majority of it was all games that were already on other platforms.
Yeah.
And that were coming to the Switch. But they had a few that were completely new.
Yeah.
They were completely new, like a brand new Fire Emblem. There were some other games. There was one whose name I just could not.
There was one. There was 1 or 2 in there.
I couldn't even name because I couldn't read what the name was because the font was so weird.
When you design the name of your game, make it legible, even if you're doing something fancy.
Because it was very stylized and you couldn't really tell what it said.
Yeah. If it's too artsy and you can't read it, it's hard to know what the game was.
So, my impressions of the E3 press conferences so far. One, EA's press conference reflected basically the fact that they got spanked.
Yeah, they got spanked
for what they did.
And I honestly don't think they've learned a whole lot. I think they just learned they've only going to learn how to hide it better next time. That's what worries me.
Yeah, and
they're still going to be shrilling it.
They are appeasing their I would say
they're in damage control right now.
They're in damage control right now. They're appeasing their investors by staying with the Battlefront 2 game. So they're still releasing content for that. Square Enix didn't really have a lot of anything new to show. They mostly showed a lot of existing stuff, and
most of existing stuff.
They played it safe. They played it safe. Microsoft had a really strong showing.
Yeah, they were good. They did a good job.
They've got a lot of.
The only drawback is they were so dense you didn't get a lot of information.
I know.
They almost had too much, but it was solid. They had a good variety.
But they have a lot of games, a lot of exclusive games coming, and they've got several new first party studios signed up with Microsoft Studios now. And then Ubisoft, theirs was good. They had a good showing. We got another trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a game that everybody's been waiting for a long time. And they had a showing of some interesting stuff. PC gaming show, we got to see a lot of indie titles.
A lot of eclectic stuff rolling around there.
A lot of eclectic stuff, a lot of unique stuff, a lot of different takes on the battle royale genre. Then Sony's show was weird.
Yeah, if there's kind of a dark spot in all this, it was just Sony as a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even what they were presenting. I mean, they had a list of games, and the games were fine.
The games that they were presenting were great. It's fun. How they presented it.
It was like they themselves and their choice of presentation, I don't understand that. I yeah, I don't get it.
We have a few new people in. We have a few new people in chat. We have Vera Kataksa. I think I'm saying your name correctly. Yep.
I don't have access to the
Couple
chat
of
on
new
my
people
side here. But hello.
Okay. But yeah, there were some standout stuff, like the ghost of I get this name right, Mitsushima. That looked good. That looked interesting. That was at the PlayStation event. That looked really good. That was the one where with the samurais with the Mongols in invasion of
Oh yeah,
Japan.
that was a good standout.
That looked really good. The Last of Us 2
Mm-hmm.
looked really
That was
good.
that was rough. That was a for real experience on that one.
Yep.
The fight that they had Ellie doing was pretty hardcore. It's like how did she keep able to keep fighting after going through all that
Oh
though?
yeah. I mean, she went through heck in that. Went through hell in
Yeah.
that. The fighting in that was brutal.
Yeah, that was
In
brutal.
that, we saw the new Tomb Raider
Mm-hmm.
during Ubisoft's event. Saw the new Tomb Raider. We saw a little bit more of Kingdom Hearts 3, which has been a long time in coming.
Yeah. And the Sony version, we have the most complete iteration of it too, with all the other games. If you weren't able to have not yet played all the other ones, they'll have the most complete kit of it.
Yep. What else did we see all through this? There was so much stuff.
Yeah. The Resident Evil 2 was a big deal for a lot of people.
Yes, the Resident Evil remake. That's been teased for a long time. That has been teased for a long time. That looked actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It may be running on the same engine as Resident Evil Biohazard.
And then what was that one that was really the one that had all the questions? It was like the one where that had that invisible creature. Which one was that one? That was the guy was just walking through the wood or the environments, and he had this big pack on his
Death
back.
Stranding.
Death Stranding.
We saw a lot more of Death Stranding, and we still have more questions.
We know nothing about it.
We know absolutely nothing.
They showed a whole bunch of it, and we learned absolutely nothing.
And the Samurai Dark Souls game, Neo, is getting a sequel. Oh, what else? There's so much. It's like, one thing to take away from this is that we're getting a ton of games.
Yeah, over the next year.
Over the next year, or even next year, we're getting a ton.
A lot of stuff is coming.
Oh, and our first trailer of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes. I'm definitely want to look
We
into
have
that
not
one.
had a really good, decent Cyberpunk game, except for the Deus Ex franchise, in a long time, and I played the pen and paper Cyberpunk game in college. I played it a lot. Played that and also Shadowrun, which was Cyberpunk with magic. So I played that in college, and I'm really looking forward to it because, one, it's CD Projekt Red, and they did an excellent job with the Witcher series. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, what they do with this. One game they did not show at all. One game they didn't show at all was the new Soul Calibur that's coming. And
that didn't show up anywhere. I think IGN was doing special or something on it, but I don't think it was.
Yeah. Where the special guest character is Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher series, of course.
Yeah. Another game that didn't make an appearance was No Man's Sky Next. There was nothing on that, which was kind of surprising considering the way the ARG sort of went right there at the end.
I know.
Some people were kind of saying if you read the ARG carefully, it was kind of saying they wouldn't be there. A fan, made a map that looked like it ought to be, but that was fan made. It wasn't from the ARG. He put the little spiral pattern on it, and it went through the convention center. Like
Mm,
maybe you'd get a hint. Maybe it'll show up in a 505 booth or something later. Maybe instead of being announced, they'll
it
just
will
do it that way.
because it may be because E3 officially is will officially start. I think it's tomorrow. It's a 3-day
Yeah.
event. The
So
expo will start tomorrow.
maybe show up somewhere like that. But I know the No Man's Sky community was kind of frustrated because they really wanted to see what this is going to look like, um, and it didn't show up. So, which is not totally a bad thing considering this is how the drama started kind of badly with No Man's Sky. So I guess it's not too surprising they wanted to skip out on an actual presentation.
Yeah,
Honestly, I'll tell you what, given the option of having a full-on trailer as opposed to it just being in a booth somewhere and people can just go walk up and see, oh, hey, here's this. Yeah, that might be the better choice, but I'm not even at this stage. I, I'm not even sure it's going to be, I'm not even sure it will be represented even there at all.
yeah,
Because the ARG got interesting at the end there where they had that explosion. So, and the apparent death of Elizabeth Layton. So they're doing their own thing.
yeah.
I think
So
they still have two more glyphs to unlock. So last
yeah,
I heard.
2 more glyphs, and there's like several more files to open
Mm-hmm. There's
in
more
the ARG.
content there, so I guess that's what they're going to roll with all the way to launch.
So if you're following like Cobra TV and L Plays on YouTube, they cover the ARG extensively. So they cover basically the where the ARG is right at the moment. L
Yeah,
Plays definitely does
he's really keeping it up to date.
because he's been name dropped in the ARG itself.
Yeah,
So
and the thing was, the ARG was like, is he right? And then now it's like with the message from Emily, it's like maybe not so much. So
hmm
yeah,
hmm and
mystery continues.
okay, we got to see more of Fallout 76, the next Fallout game.
Yeah, I'm kind of you know me. I want to shoot. That's I looked at that and
You
I'm
want to
like,
launch
oh,
those nukes?
I want to launch those nukes. That's going to be
Nuclear
my thing.
launch detected.
We used to play the old StarCraft game, and I was notorious for nuking the beduddles out of everybody else. And
I'm like,
I am so looking
I'm
forward
like
to
they're
that.
working on my base, and all of a sudden I hear nuclear launch detected, nuclear launch detected, nuclear launch detected, nuclear launch detected.
Hmm
I go, ah.
And then the next few moments, he's playing Oblivion or a Fallout inside his StarCraft game.
I like that where the nukes go off. You go into that region, and that whole region is just
Yeah,
tore up, and
it's tore up.
it looks like the glowing sea when you
And
go there.
you have to collect resources, and they can be dangerous. There's a risk to collecting them, but they're rare resources you have to be able to collect. That was interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes because I guess probably you probably need it to make more rare items or weapons or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to launching the new.
Vera Kotax says that there are no glyphs left.
Oh, they're doing this. Okay.
Yeah, and says that the
Hmm.
ARG might be what brings the trailer to us. It's possible.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay,
All
so we'll have to keep an eye out for the next video from L Plays. He'll likely talk about
Yeah,
that.
I get behind. It's hard to keep track of that thing. I thought there were some left, but I guess not. Okay.
Okay, so we saw the new Fallout game. It's going to be multiplayer, but from what I'm told, the multiplayer part is optional. It's still a traditional regular Fallout game, except it
Yeah.
does have multiplayer. It's a part of it.
Yeah,
So
and the idea that you can build your bases anywhere.
yeah, you're not restricted to just the settlement, just settlement. You can build any place. Thing
And
is,
they're not
it's
necessarily safe. You can actually be
no,
attacked by
yeah,
creatures and um, nuked and
and other
any
players.
yeah.
So
And I think they limit to how much each each instance is going to have, I think, to a certain maximum. They said there was like, I think it was, how many did they say? I forget. That they were going to cap each, that way it doesn't feel too full, that it doesn't feel cramped. They were going to, they're going to have a bunch of different instances, and you'd be in the same one, but you could still switch over and play with your friends.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
we're streaming through Restream.io so that it goes to YouTube and Twitch both. So I've noticed that there is a lag in that with the chat because I'm looking at a window that combines the chat from both YouTube and Twitch. And I noticed that there is a little bit of a lag there. So if you're lagged behind in the chat, that's why. Because that screen lets me see chat from both YouTube and Twitch combined in one window.
And I don't have the chat.
And that's what you see on the, that's what you see on the screen here in the stream is that very window I'm looking at. Yeah, I need to get you the URLs for those so you can look at them when we're doing this too.
Yeah.
Because also when we do this, when we do something like this the next time, we'll be on the new set.
Yeah, it'll be different.
It'll be different. Very
Hopefully
different.
Way better too.
Yeah, because we won't be using Discord like we are now to be able to put your face in the video.
We'll actually be in the same room.
We'll be in the same room. I'll be in front of the green screen. You'll be in front of a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll be able to do compositing on both. Maybe that machine might be able to do
it. Something to work on.
Something to work on. Something to work on. It's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so we saw Fallout 76. We saw a teaser for Starfield. No details on the game.
Yeah, they just basically confirmed its existence is all they did.
Yep, they confirmed its existence. So my theory that it was a code name for Elder Scrolls 6. Busted.
Yep.
And they did say that they did announce officially Elder Scrolls 6.
Yep, just basically it exists.
No details though.
That it's real and that that it's real. That's it.
They acknowledged that people were looking for it. So they did announce Elder Scrolls 6, but they had nothing to show.
Yeah, they didn't even give a title. Just Elder Scrolls 6, and that's where it stopped. So not even a title to it.
Not even a title. Oh, there was so much these past 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, let me bring up my old notes here. Now, there are a few interesting things that were shown during the PC gaming show. There was a Pokemon-like game where you grow your creatures called Ooblet.
Yeah.
Insomniac was working on a new game. Stormland. It's a VR game where you are a robot. You were interested in that one.
I was interested in it, and I'm hoping that they're going to make it Vive compatible.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is not going to be some kind of weird Oculus exclusive thing like they like to do.
More than likely. Updates were coming to Killing Floor 2, and Tripwire Games is a publisher now, and so they're helping the guy who created the original Killing Floor mod that the game was based on, help him out with a game called Maneater, where it's an RPG where you play a shark.
I didn't know if I wanted to get into that. One of the hosts got into some
yes,
awkward situations with the name of that.
And there were a lot of battle royale games.
A lot of battle royale.
There is that one other game called Satisfactory from Coffee Stain Studios.
Yeah, that one looks like it
That one looked
might be fun.
interesting. That looked like Planet Nomads and mixed with Infinifact, or I think it's Infinifactory.
Yeah.
Basically, you build factories and you roam around this planet and you mine up resources in order to build machines. You build smaller machines to build bigger machines. And then you build out this whole factory. You need the simpler
machines to be able to build the more complex machines, to build bigger machines, and so forth and so on, so you can build this ultimate end goal type of device for whatever purpose it serves.
Yep. And then there's 2 Walking Dead games coming. One's an FPS, and one is the final chapter in Telltale's Walking Dead franchise.
They did a little bit of twirling with Gears of War. I think there was 3 different Gears of War things coming.
Couple of different Gears of War. One was Gears of War Pop, where the characters looked like pop vinyl characters. No idea what that's gonna be, but it had had Lego game humor to it.
Yeah.
Then the Gears Tactics, a tactics game set in the Gears universe, and Gears 6. So the next game in the Gears of War franchise, and then Rapture Reject.
Oh yes. That was such a fun trailer.
That's going to be
I laughed so hard on that one.
Be cartoony graphics, 3/4 perspective, top down, 3/4 perspective battle royale.
That thing was so South Park worthy too.
Oh yes, another new game from the makers of Rick and Morty, and had their quirky comedy all mixed in it. They saw more details on Hitman 2. What I didn't like is that the people who pre-order get a game mode. I never like when developers do that.
Yeah, that's not cool. That part's not cool at all.
No, that's really not cool. I never like when they do that. Oh, I know we're missing something.
Probably a lot of something.
The new Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah, the Spider-Man one.
That one looked good because
that one looked good. That one looked like it's gonna be fun.
That one looks like it's gonna be fun because they borrow a lot from the Arkham Batman series.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing on what Rocksteady is working on. We know Rocksteady is working on another DC title. Rumors have it it's Superman, but they have not. But nobody's given any details on what it is.
Yeah, there was nothing on it.
As I said, E3 is not over, so we may get something. We may get something from that, but they didn't drop any hints or any information from during the press conferences at all. What else? Oh, Halo 6.
Mm-hmm.
New Halo game.
Microsoft opened up with that pretty much. It's like, okay, here's Halo.
Yep, Microsoft opened up with that.
Don't think there were any details with that, were there?
No.
Just an announcement.
So overall good press conferences, despite
a lot of content.
A lot of good content, a lot of good games coming. There's a lot of games that look really interesting. Another game in the Ori franchise is coming. I liked the first game. That's a really fun Metroidvania style game. I liked that one a lot. Let's see here. Overall, I'd say it was a good E3. Sony had the weakest. Content-wise, I would say Square Enix had the weakest because they didn't really show anything new.
They were the smallest. Presentation wise,
Sony was the weakest
someone needs to get fired for that mess.
because
That was terrible.
the games that they
The way
showed
they treated the crowd was
yeah,
awful.
yeah, the trailer content that they had was good. The content they had was good, but the delivery was awful.
Delivery was awful.
Yeah, the delivery was awful. So they showed us some interesting stuff, but the way they delivered it was really bad.
Yeah, it was the low moment.
Yeah,
with that part. That was the lowest.
Microsoft and Ubisoft
They were solid.
They were solid.
I think they were the top two presenters in all this, and Bethesda came in, I would say, third.
Yeah.
I think between Microsoft and Ubisoft, because it kind of depends on how you rate them, because they were different from each other in a lot of ways, but they delivered their intended content the way they wanted to.
Bethesda had a lot of cringy moments because I think they had a lot of new people out on stage who weren't used to being on stage.
Awkward pretty fast. As I even made the comment, they don't let them out much. So awkward. They had a few awkward moments. But king of the awkward moment was the man-eater line. That won the awkward moment award.
Yes.
Just out of the blue, she won the award on that one. The runner-up was the tall guy, the biker guy. He won the next awkward moment award, or the runner-up.
Oh yeah, that was during Ubisoft's
Ubisoft's
press conference.
Microsoft, I don't think could do a whole lot of flashiness. I think their focus was they had a lot of content to get through, and so they just had to keep trucking.
Yeah.
That's why that theirs wasn't as, I think, on stage flashy. They just had so much.
Yeah.
So Ubisoft had more time for shenanigans, and they had a lot of shenanigans.
They had a lot of shit. Well,
a lot of shenanigans.
They got the Just Dance skit out of the way at the start, so they were able to focus on everything else. And they had the music They had the music during the trailer of the Donkey Kong Adventure update for Mario versus Rabbids for that. And then
Bethesda had a music thing, but it was kind of flat because the intent of it was supposed to be the intent of the music was supposed to be the real the game.
Yeah.
And it got lost in the Matrix because Walmart had already blown it.
They
already spoiled the joke.
That, and they had that awkward moment of they were supposed to transition to something, but it didn't. They had a technical glitch.
Yeah.
No.
And the guy at the PC thing, he was a master at it. He had the air of a 1980s vacuum salesman, but he was very masterful in what he was doing, though. He was very good at his job.
Yeah, he was very good at his job. And Ubisoft, they had a small glitch when they brought the guys out for the hospital sim game.
Mm-hmm. They had a small oopsie there.
But they were able to get through it.
Quickly.
The show must go on.
Yeah, they recovered pretty good.
Yeah, they recovered good. So there were a few glitches this year.
There were some moments.
There were some moments.
When you're live streaming and you got to keep trucking, you got a fast presentation and something snags, you just got to truck with it.
Oh God, we had our own. It's like we lost you there for a minute at one time. We had a glitch with Discord.
Yeah, Discord kind of crapped out at one point. Yeah.
When you're doing live and something goes wrong, everybody knows it.
We'll do it live.
So overall, the press conferences this year were good. For some of them, the presentation could have been better, way better. Like Sony, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Overall, good. We're getting a lot of good games, a lot of good variety. It's not the same old.
It feels like there's a good mix of stuff for everybody.
Yes.
Whether you're the hardcore gamer or just a chilled experience, whether you're a big AAA or small one-man guy doing your little thing in the corner, there's a little something there for everybody.
Yep. So not a lot of not a lot of long-running franchises getting reiterations. Although we
I
did
think
see a little bit of.
Sony had the. Was it Sony or Ubisoft? No, Ubisoft had the most of those.
So Ubisoft had the most sequels. We saw
They
a
had the
little bit of.
largest dependency on prior content.
We saw a little bit of Battlefield 5. Not a whole lot. Mostly new stuff. Mostly new IPs. Completely new games.
A lot of new stuff.
So really good show this year. Glad to see that we're getting a lot of new stuff, and we're just not getting rehashes of old crap.
Yeah.
You know, so we
And
are.
What we do get that's old stuff is a good selection of stuff. They've picked through it and curated it pretty well.
Oh, and the new Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's another series that went on hiatus for a year and came back with Origins, and Origins was good. And so they have this new one that is set in ancient Greece, and that looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, a little different. There was some stuff that you would have expected to see that wasn't in it. So it's curious to see how they're gonna, the kind of the how it's gonna fit together, because there were some different aspects to it.
Yeah, how it's going to fit into the Assassin's
and that
Creed
pirate
lore.
game. What's that pirate one?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. That looked fun.
Yep, inspired by the pirate segments, the pirate ship segments of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Those are fun, by the way. I have Black Flag, so those are actually very fun parts of the game.
So it was fun enough. They made it its own. They broke it out and made it its own game.
Yep.
So that looked good. A lot of strategy going on there.
Yep.
That one.
So I would give this year's E3 a B- if I had to rate it.
Like an 8 out of 10-ish.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't superb. Wasn't awful. Even though Sony's was kind of awful. Their presentation was awful, but their content was good.
Yeah.
So overall, a good year. We didn't have a really crappy year. Nintendo actually had a very good Nintendo Direct. Very
if you like Smash Brothers, you're in for a treat.
information dense Nintendo Direct.
Very dense. Very dense this year.
If you're a fan of Smash Brothers, they went all out for you this year.
Nintendo has a love letter for you if you're a fan. If you're a Smash Brothers fan.
Yes. Yeah. If you are a Smash Brothers fan, they definitely had a love letter for you this year. And the Switch is just kicking ass every direction, every way it goes.
And it was, when you think about all the other things, all the other games, you had that name drop of also on the Switch, all the way through.
Even EA, which skipped out on the Wii U, even they had a presence with FIFA 18 and 19.
Yeah. And for those people who enjoy that game, I mean, being able to take it with them is going to be a big deal for them.
So, I'd like to thank everyone who has stuck with us these past 4 days as we've struggled to go through these 4 live streams. We have really run ourselves ragged with this because one, we're not used to being up during the day. We're mostly night owls.
Like bright light.
Plus, you got this major project going on at the same time. It just came around at the wrong time.
At the most busiest point in it, and this just shows this is when things line up.
Yes, but I think it's good. It's been good for the channel. And I know Daniel was very appreciative of us doing these live streams for Gamers Bay. And once the new set and computer is up and running, I'll be doing more videos on Gamers Bay and more videos on my channel, Zorch Central, and it'll be more professional and more detailed, and be covering a lot more games. We'll be able to do console games. We'll be able to do PS4 and Xbox as well. So there's a lot we'll be able to do with this once everything's all set up and working. So it'll still be about a week or so.
Pardon the dust.
Pardon the dust. Yes, it's still Still, still got the construction sign up.
Yeah.
Still a work in progress. But this has been first time we've ever done something on this scale on this channel or any channel before. The next time we do this, we're going to do it a little differently because this has been rough.
Yeah.
But it's also been fun. And we've had lack of sleep, and I've been downing a lot of dew and soda to stay awake. Oh, man. This has been rough. But fun. But fun. So, if you like the content on this channel, please consider subscribing. And if you do, remember to click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you'll get notifications. But because YouTube and Google are mucking with the algorithms, not all subscribers get notifications. So if you want to get up to the minute, up to the second notifications on any and all in future videos and live streams on Gamers Bay, go to the Gamers Bay community on Google+. We were essentially a retro gaming specific community. We're one of the first gaming communities on Google+ after it was founded. We're one of the oldest communities there, and we've been running ever since. And we're one of the fastest growing and most successful there. So it's a troll-free environment, so you can go there and not get harassed for the games you like. And it's a fun place. So come and join us at Gamers Bay, and you will get notifications of everything that we put here on Gamers Bay there, as well as on the TheZorch Central channel as well. So again, thank you to everyone who has joined us during this 4-day adventure. I'm going to go collapse again. I've been Mike TheZorch.
The Tygra Kahn.
And we will see you the next live stream, whenever that will be, and in any future videos. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.